Hello and welcome to Flossmas number 6. It is amazing that we are moving through December so quickly. Congratulations to those people who identified yesterday's melody as In the Bleak Midwinter. I will encourage you to go on YouTube and listen to this piece done by other performers. One of my subscribers was mentioning that the melody sounded like something that Lorena McKinnett had played at a concert. And yes, indeed, she does a guitar version of this that is absolutely amazing. So for myself, for years, I had a choir where we had a bass who could sing so full and so low. That this was his signature piece. I believe that it will be forever in my memory, the sound of his voice. Let's jump into the Nordic countdown. That is, of course, the project created by Evertote, Roxy Floss Co., and Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. Now, I have completed day 6, and day 6's floss was called Garland. I think they're talking about like a garland with regards to using like the pine boughs and things that we might associate with this color. In the Evertote day 1, we got this flexible ring, and I have actually started using it for this project. And I'm finding it quite convenient rather than putting everything back in the original envelopes, because we are having to pull out past flosses. And I myself don't always use the exact floss they say, but that's okay. I've now got everything together. So today's postcard sketch looks like this, and we notice that we have people around an artist. And Jacob is inviting us to visit his floss tube so that he can introduce you to a Swedish artist by the name of Carl Larsson. I am sure there will be lots of information and some beautiful eye candy for you to look at. Now, I did fill in the missing stitches and then went on with the balance of day 6. So the missing stitches was here, and I did that in the redwood, like the triangles. And then we had this line, which was in the same color as our gems up there. And then we have these little things. Now they are in green. So my debate is, are they birds? Are they frogs? Are they the beginning of another motif that just happens to be in a different color? I am not sure of the answers, but that's okay. We will find out in due time. So I am stitching that on the 20 count Glacier Ada, of course, a Roxy Floss Co. die. And my other Advent is the Advent banner by Tiny Modernist that I am doing on an 18 count jade. Here I am using 2 strands of DMC, whereas on my Glacier I'm only using 1 strand. Now, underneath my gingerbread house, I have a garland, and it's got some baubles in it. This was actually quite a quick stitch because each of the leaves was the same shape. It was just a matter of which direction it was headed in. So We seem to have figure, something across, figure, something across. So I think we're due for another figure tomorrow. I'm not even going to hazard a guess as to what it's going to be, but I'm sure that I will love doing it. Now, what else have I been busy with? Well, you know that I have been stitching the Spirit of Christmas, which is a Textilly pattern on Etsy. And I've been doing this with Laura, Stitching by the Shore, and Amy of Renewing Stitches, and Mary of Mary's Stitchy Corner. And I did get farther, just not quite complete. I've got to make sure that I put it right side up because I got the word in. So Joy is sitting right there. Now there is something here and here, and I'm debating, do I do it in gold or do it in green? I'm leaning towards green so that only the word is in gold. And then I just have a little bit more to do there. So I think I will have the bauble finished for tomorrow. And again, this is 32 count Nessie, 2 strands of floss, but I don't know the color of green because it was from a free bag of floss, and my gold is a Diamante, which is a DMC product. Now, I have also continued on with my pattern that's by Erica of Fibers and Floss Canada, A Christmas Gathering. And today I put in a large tree. Initially I thought I was only going to do the top part, but then I found it easier to count off from the people by putting in the bottom part, so I just did the whole thing. Now, while this does come up in Pattern Keeper, I myself have had a few challenges just trying to get the highlighting to work. It works on the symbols that are internal, but not any of them that are on the outside of a figure. So I really don't know how far I am on this, but that is okay. And this is the one that I am doing in a JP Coates dark red. This is on a 40 count white Verdal, and definitely is a fun stitch. I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go tomorrow. And then I also got another 200 or so stitches into my Modern Folk Embroidery Cozy Christmas. So you can see that I continued on with the house, and I did a little bit of this up there, and I filled in some of the missing snowflakes. So I had debated doing the door in a different color and wasn't sure which color was going to actually work out well. The other thing, that for the spot that I'm in, the DMC 115, I'm getting entire lengths of just the darkest of the red colors. So I didn't think that if I chose black it would actually show, so I'm just continuing to do everything in my DMC variegated 115. This is 22 count Ada, 1 strand. Oh, I also did this little thing down here. This is 40% complete. Jacob's patterns go into Pattern Keeper with ease. And I forgot to take it out of the package. My apologies for crinkles. I try to avoid the crinkles. We had so much snowing this morning that we couldn't get out of town for me to do a visit to my mother. So while my husband was shoveling, and he's shoveling again, I returned to Tortoise Tower, which is a Plum Street sampler pattern. And I am totally enjoying this. I must admit that on the days that I go to visit my mother, I am just having enough time to do my 5 Christmas stitches. I don't have time to do other things. So I spent some time this morning. I did not get it done, but it is close. I am doing this on a 40 count ecru verdal that was dyed by Roxy Floss Co. And it just happens that on this particular color, I felt that the colors of the floss needed to be brightened. So essentially none of the colors are called for except for the white and the black in the eyes. So if I just move it in close, you can see that I was able to get this flower in. Hang on, it's this flower over here. This flower is missing its middle, and this flower is only partially in. I did finish the grass and the little daisy type flowers. So I'm hoping that the next time that I do this that I will be able to complete it. And I will say that I'm 99% certain I am not going to put the black line. It's a single line of X's all the way around. I think I'm going to leave it off. I like it without that definition all the way around. So I think this is so cute. I'm really, really pleased with this. It is an easy stitch, I will tell you. And that is all of my stitching for today. And in my moment to say thank you, I want to give thanks for progressive technology. When I was young, I did not have a television, but we did have something called a hi-fi, and we had LPs that were playing on a regular basis. We could stack like 10 of them up and they would just drop down and play on. And during the Christmas period, the Christmas music was always going. Now, of course, that progressed to what was a cassette player, an 8-track player, oh my, and we eventually got to CDs, and of course now we are streaming our melodies and can get them with ease. Music is a part of all of our lives, and without this special progression, which of course, if we go way back, started with something called a Victrola, the ease that we have of just popping a melody on to make the job of cleaning our house go a little bit easier, a drive flow with more enjoyment. And in general, I prefer to have a single melody playing in the car and have everybody singing with it so that it's interactive and that we get everybody singing than to have everybody with their headphones in. But I am grateful for the progressive technology that allows music to be a part of everybody's life. The melody for today will not be difficult to identify at all. I'm hoping that 100% of the people that comment will be able to identify this. Indeed, I actually played it off of sheet music that my mother purchased years and years ago. And I will tell you that in my stocking, Christmas morning, we always had overflowing stockings as a child with things gathered behind and around it. And the top of the stocking, we always got a new Christmas ornament. I continued that tradition with my children. And for me, behind the stocking would always be sheet music. And so I actually have first editions of pieces that were composed, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, because I'm alive long enough that they were composed during my lifetime. And to actually have the first edition sheet music of these pieces is a true pleasure and brings back the memory of my stockings that smelled of cedar, because most of the year they were in my mother's cedar chest. So neither of the pieces that I mentioned today are the one that I'm playing. Go for it and identify this melody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know that there is a host of Flossmas videos for you to be spending your time with. And as Laura said, it's actually impossible in December to keep track of every minute of every Flosstuber that you happen to enjoy. I thank you if you are finding the time to watch my videos even on occasion. So until tomorrow, have a wonderful day and happy Christmas shopping.